From 1925 to 1961, there was a home in Ireland for women who had babies out of wedlock. It was literally referred to as the home, and after 1961, they shut it down. Probably because a significant amount of children would die in the home. Now, they died because of a variety of different illnesses, but people always wondered whatever happened to the bodies. Well, a historian by the name of Catherine Corliss started investigating this, and she actually found remains from 800 babies in a septic tank where the home still exists. Now, obviously, it's not open, it's not running anymore, but they literally just put them in a septic tank. So, according to reports, their bodies were piled into a massive septic tank sitting in the back of the structure and forgotten with neither gravestones nor coffins. And in terms of what the home was really all about, when daughters became pregnant, they were ostracized completely. Families would be afraid of neighbors finding out because to get pregnant out of marriage was the worst thing on earth.
Some of the kids died because they got disease like measles, tuberculosis, pneumonia, etc. But a lot of them died just because of malnutrition and neglect.
Yep.
So these are the people who are pro-life. Okay, so you can't have an abortion, but once the baby's born, yeah, do you really have to feed it?
Yeah.
Right? 800, at least, by the way. They think it could be even more. And the kids who found it, and they saw all those human skulls, etc. They said they're haunted by it, right? They can't sleep at night.
Yeah, they still have nightmares about it. What's crazy about this is, you know, of course, the automatic assumption is that these women were somehow promiscuous, according to the people who actually sent them to the homes. A lot of the women were raped. And so they get pregnant through the rape, and then they get sent to the home, so it adds insult to injury. And again, these kids were so severely neglected, they were malnourished. There were reports written at the time. One journalist talked about how, you know, their flesh was hanging from their bones. They had the pot bellies from being so malnourished. I mean, it's sick to know that this existed. And yeah, there's that huge hypocrisy there. You know, the pro-life agenda, and then really behind closed doors, there's like this disdain and hatred for children that are born out of wedlock.
Yeah, it wasn't their fault. And to give you a sense of how bad it was, babies were dying about 2 a week. It's amazing, okay? So now let's not confuse things. Don't misunderstand what we're saying. That was a different time, different country. We're not saying the pro-life people today would do that or have done that. That was 1925 to 1961 in Ireland. And back then, Catholics were far more pro-life. Now evangelicals in this country have taken on that cause. Back then, evangelicals in this country were mixed on that issue, okay? And it was majority Catholic issue, as I just pointed out. So, but those people at that time thought, no, we're with God, right? And so the reason I say that is because, look, all these things matter. If you have texts that people follow with crazy interpretations, you have dogma, you have shaming, all those things matter, man, because it's not just like, oh, you used words. No, but the shaming and the words that you used led them to go to that place, and then led their kids to be put in that basically trash bin, right? With 800 other kids. And, you know, her life is ruined. Obviously, all those kids are dead. It has consequences. So, like, when people say, hey, why do you guys argue against religion, etc.? It's not to say all religion is bad. It's not to say that there aren't, the great majority of religious people now are lovely people who try to do right, help the poor, etc. But when you base your beliefs on things that aren't true, that they sometimes wind up having disastrous consequences. So, and that's part of the consequences you see here.